Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome back to F1 Fantasy Weekly and the first F1 Fantasy Weekly with our new intro.
Oh yeah, looking good.
It does. You like it? Do you like it? Something, let us know in the comments down below. But this is the first proper F1 Fantasy preview. We did preview the Australian Grand Prix, I think, because it was still on by the time we do fantasy previews. But the season, we're very confident it's going ahead this Sunday. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I've done it. I've done it again. But no, Austria preview, here we go. But first, we give a little introduction on here on F1 Fantasy of what it is. So, F1 Fantasy is a game just like any other kind of sports fantasy game. You have a budget. In this, it is $100 million. In that budget, you have to select 5 drivers and 1 constructors, and the points that they score over the course of a weekend add up to the total, and you obviously go head-to-head against the world, your friends, whoever, in terms of trying to beat them. Then, like any fantasy league, there's a winner at the end of the day. The winner of our fantasy league last time was Tobacco Playtech Super Life, Mr. JM. I always say Mr. JM. He's got numbers after. Okay, 1987 maybe?
I don't know.
Yanni, basically, from Finland, was the champion in ours. So, well done, reigning champion. Who will be the champion of the F1 Fanatics League this time? That is a real big question.
Oh, yeah.
But
when will we know?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. But I think that's our fantasy explained. So now we get into the preview. So basically how this F1 Fantasy Weekly episode will go is we'll preview who we think are the kind of top drivers to look out for from kind of the top teams and midfield teams as well. The kind of top teams to go for. If you watch our videos, you know it's only going to be 3 teams, and that is either Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari for the weekend. Some guys we think to avoid. We'll run through our teams, what we're going for this first weekend. Then rate your team will be up before rounding off, as always, with our Kimi Moment of the week. And then that's it. Don't get greedy. Don't want more content.
No.
Or you might be, thank goodness they've shut up. It's one of 2 scales, definitely. Yeah. I think from there.
Exactly.
But Stephen, I'm going to throw to you first up. Who do you reckon are probably going to be the top drivers for this weekend?
I'm wearing a pretty big clue here. Max Verstappen. 2-time Austria Grand Prix winner.
In the past 2 years.
Yeah. It's the Red Bull's is it technically one of their home Grand Prix?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's that in Japan with the Honda Link. And yeah. But then technically isn't Silverstone a home Grand Prix for them as well?
Yeah, but they focus on Austria and now Japan with Honda.
Yeah. Yeah, they've looked very good the last couple of years at Austria. You got to think, could it be a great opening start for Red Bull?
I think, they're going to want to make a statement as well.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Because, Max really wants a title challenge, and he has to win it this season if he is going to be the youngest ever Formula 1 world champion. I think he can still do it this year and be the youngest ever, which obviously would be beating their own record with Sebastian Vettel. But I think they're quite hungry to do that.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, another top driver, you can't not rule out Lewis Hamilton here, but Lewis Hamilton, for the price that he is, you make a lot of sacrifices in other area of your teams. Do you just go for Mercedes as a constructor? So probably alongside Max Verstappen, I'd probably go Charles Leclerc, just because almost won last year.
Last year, very strong.
We don't know what Ferrari are going to do, but hey, it's between those are the top 3 guys probably within the sport.
Yeah. Yeah, Mercedes, you've got to think, even though they had a terrible race last year, you've got to think they're going to be bringing everything for the season opener.
One guy I probably wouldn't, because it's too much of a gamble to see what we would go, would be Valtteri Bottas, because Sebastian Vettel has the Valtteri Bottas price last year, where he was near the 20 million mark, and he's going to be near the top, so he's going to get good points for that price. Where Bottas, I think, is around about 29 mil now. He's the second most expensive driver. He going in early into that section, I'd probably steer clear of Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah.
And from there, midfield guys, Sergio Perez.
Checker!
Obvious one. Just because I've drilled home with this on F1 Fantasy, his price is too good. 9.3 million for a guy who is just so consistent in the midfield. Look, I know Racing Point didn't do, but they didn't have a great first half of the season last year. But I still think, Sergio is a guy to go for in this race.
The pink Mercedes. But maybe a more budget option in that midfield. Haas. With Magnussen and Grosjean. Magnussen did very well. Where did he qualify last year?
He qualified 5th last year.
5th? New livery looking good. Haas could be very quick this year. Who knows? Could be good contenders. And they're very cheap.
Yeah. Haas is an interesting one because we're really not sure which Haas we'll get. Will we get 2018 Haas or will we get 2019 Haas?
Yeah.
There's quite a stark contrast.
They were doing a lot of development on the car last year.
Yeah, and a team so closely linked to Ferrari, I think their success is very linked there. So if you want to kind of, Haas are probably the outside gamble in this one. In terms of, if you want a little bit of a curveball, I'd pick a Haas driver.
Yeah.
Which I think, if we get to rate your team section, there's a few kind of actually Grosjean's in there just because he is so cheap.
He's very cheap.
He's the 3rd cheapest driver after Russell and Latifi.
One of the most experienced on the grid.
Exactly. So that surely has to count for something. That's for sure. Top constructor, for me, it's between Red Bull, Mercedes.
Yeah. Just for the reasons we picked the Lewis or Verstappen as the top 2. Pick those as the top teams.
Your safe bet has to be Mercedes here.
Yeah.
Just because they look so good in testing. We don't have much to go off. Yes, they didn't perform well at Austria last year, but it looked like they, had solved those cooling issues come later on in the season. And it just seems the obvious pick. They're probably going to be in and around the podium with both of those drivers. So you're probably, even if one of them doesn't win it, both of them are probably going to come out on top higher than the both Red Bull or Ferrari drivers.
It's also a good investment for the rest of the season.
Exactly. Mercedes, especially last year, was never a bad investment.
Yeah.
If you had Mercedes, which I think I did pretty much all season, it was just a very solid return week in, week out. Guaranteed points on that. Red Bull would be the curveball in terms of if you back in Max and also back in Alex to do well. Ferrari, steer clear just because it's a little bit of a gamble, I think, because we don't know what's going to happen with Ferrari. Ferrari, the only ones I kind of feel confident saying that they'd be a good shout on at the moment is Spa and Monza. Before that, I'd have to see how they are performing.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the constructors. Guys to avoid, we already said Valtteri Bottas. Anyone you'd say avoid?
It's difficult because some you'd say are good investment shots. I kind of... no. I can't really...
Yeah, it's difficult. You're going to go harsh on Latifi?
Yeah, but then he's so cheap, you're not really losing out on anything.
Just points.
Yeah, but if there's retirements, those Williams are normally pretty reliable and pick up stuff.
Yeah, they get a minimum bracket.
It's always difficult for the first race to see how teams start. Will they hit the ground running or will they stutter a bit?
I think for me, the only ones I would steer clear, just because they're quite uncertain, because the teammates are quite close, would be Gasly and Kvyat. I would say, obviously, Kvyat had a good first half of the season last year. Gasly had a good return to Toro Rosso, now AlphaTauri, in the second half of the season. It isn't an obvious one to pick up teammate points on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That would be the ones I would say, because there's in and around there. There's like Kimi Räikkönen, there's Lando Norris in that sector, and Lando, you can probably say might get qualifying points over Carlos. You don't know because
Lando's a decent price as well.
Yeah. But that's it. So, Stephen, do you want to go my team or your team first?
I'll go with my team first.
Okay. So, we affectionately call ourselves sometimes F1 fantasy experts. We're not. We're just guys who enjoy it and probably spend far too much looking into how you actually play the game. But yeah, here's what we're going to go for on the first weekend. Stephen.
Oh yeah. So I've of course have gone for Max Verstappen. Alongside him is Charles Leclerc and Checo Perez as my turbo driver. And I've got Kevin Magnussen and George Russell. And then for my team, I've gone for Red Bull. No Mercedes. Bit of a gamble there.
It's a bit of a gamble. So my team is more spread your chips. Albon, Vettel, Russell, Raikkonen, Perez as my turbo driver, and Mercedes. And yeah, I think I've got one from each of the top three teams in case Red Bull do well. Albon is just because his price is 20.3. In the second half of the season, you could turbo drive Alexander Albon, and he basically just became the best turbo.
Yeah.
In terms of that. So I'm hoping that his price might fluctuate, and when he drops below 20 million, hopefully, I can maybe look at turboing him, because then he'd probably be a very assured, guaranteed shout on that front. Russell is kind of, the usual kind of guaranteed investment. Make some money on him there, and then can cash in on a better car probably as we go on. Mercedes, safe option, like I was saying, probably the safe bet there. Raikkonen, I'm just going on his experience. It's been a break. One of the most experienced drivers on the grid. I don't know what that Alfa Romeo will be like, but I just trust Kimi to drive well. And he has his own moment. One of us had to pick Kimi. Surely.
Yeah.
I've said going on to our teams, we forgot our section where we recommend our turbo drivers. So we've both gone for Sergio Perez there. So I'm going to say Sergio Perez is definitely one. If you've got him in your team, he's always a strong, consistent shout. Who else would you maybe turbo?
Sainz or... I was going to say Ricciardo, but maybe Ocon would be a bit of an outside shout. You don't know how that Renault team's going to work this year. Whether Ricciardo will be given the ability to perform or be sabotaged a bit.
Yeah, I think Sainz is the safer bet. Ricciardo, Ocon, you're not sure. Maybe as a real outside bet, maybe Gasly or Kvyat in the AlphaTauri. I know I've just said don't have them. But if you do have them...
We get so many mixed messages.
If you do have them, though, they might be an interesting shout. My criticism was them because you're not going to get teammate points.
So don't have them in your team, but turbo them.
If you do have them in your team. Oh, God. Yeah, but some people might not have listened. I'm trying to balance it out for both of them.
Okay.
Right, we'll swiftly move on.
Well, so on your team, you've gone for the top three.
Yeah.
But then you've risked it with the 2 second drivers from Ferrari and Red Bull.
Yeah.
Build the gamble.
But Vettel was purely, like I've said before, Vettel is too cheap for me not to pick him early to make money on him, even, and he might still perform as well.
Or will he lose money?
Well, if we lose money on Sebastian Vettel, I'll be disappointed. But I don't think so. I think we've got money in the bank with Sebi Vettel.
Investment there. Fair
Indeed.
enough.
But yeah, no, that's where we're going. So, we move on to our thing where we check out your teams and we give them a rating out of Kimi. That is, of course, Rate Your Team.
Mine.
So, Rate Your Team was very successful last week. I think people sent in loads. We had loads of. So we've limited it to 6 this time. We'll try and do as many as we can in this section as we go along. But yeah, basically, we've had some more kind of comments on the video below. If you want to comment on this video for next week's Rate Your Team.
Next week, the preview review.
I know. that is going to be a mammoth mixed match of whatever we can get F1 Fantasy Weekend, and we got back to back of those as well. So Jose last year, what am I obsessed with years? Last week, Jose had his wife. Remember, sent his wife's team in, wanted to see how she was. Well, he's now braved it himself. He submitted his team, and he wants to know how it compares in Kimi's.
She got 4, didn't she?
I believe she did.
Precious.
I believe she did. So, Jose's team is Vettel, Verstappen, Perez, Magnussen, Russell, and Ferrari.
Ooh.
Initial thought?
Very similar to my team, other than Vettel and Ferrari. I feel like he's got money in the bank there. I don't know if he's got enough for Mercedes. Probably not, because Ferrari's quite cheap. Yeah, I like it. But I think he's got money in the bank there to do other stuff, unless he's saving it to see how things go in the first week. It's probably not a bad shout, but yeah.
I feel for me, it's a 3.5 Kimi. So it's a Kimi and a Robin, as Rox said last week in the comments. That's what the half Kimi were making.
Yeah.
His son Robin. He's making the 0.5.
Excellent.
Just because Vettel, Verstappen, Perez, Max and Russell, I think it's really strong. But Ferrari is the uncertainty. So I'm just not sure on them. And Magnussen is, like we said, an outside shot on has to do well. But there's a lot of gambles in there. So it's not just one gamble. It's like 3.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see how much money you got left over. But probably, on the face of it, 3 Kimmys and a Robin is not bad. Not bad.
So that's first team up. Well done, Jose. So your wife technically is ahead. Your partner is ahead at this current stage. We'll see who does better on race weekend. So David Young has gone with Verstappen, Mega Driver, first week.
Okay.
Perez, Turbo Driver, Ricciardo, Sainz, Gasly, and Red Bull.
I'm liking that team. Not taking into account the Mega Driver. I'm not sure if we've
spoken about that before.
Yeah.
Mega Driver, it's a big risk to play week 1, and you only get to use it twice in the year. So try and link it in with streaks where you can.
Yeah, I think that's a 4. Verstappen, he's gone heavy on that midfield, sacrificed up the top, because he's only got Verstappen and Red Bull. So you're missing Mercedes and Ferrari. Maybe that's 3 Kimmys and a Robin as well.
I was going to go 4 because I do think you are going to get strong points in that midfield with Perez, Ricciardo and Sainz, I think. Just on face value, obviously, this is it with previews. We don't know what's going to happen in the race. But on face value, on paper, that looks strong. Verstappen, last winner there for the past couple of years. Red Bull, we've already said, thought to do well. Gasly, I said, don't have him in the team, but he's in the team, so he's probably the weaker link there. But no, a strong team, I'd say. 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
And you've gone 3.5.
3 and a Robin.
3 and a Robin from Stephen. Right, Yanni himself, reigning champion of the F1 Fanatics League. Well, it was nice to see you back in the comments as well, Yanni. So great for being back there. His team is Verstappen, Russell, Vettel, Magnussen, Grosjean, and Ferrari. He's gone double Haas.
And he's gone Ferrari.
And Ferrari and Vettel.
Oh. I'm always worried to question the logic from Yanni. Obviously, champion last year. Where did he end up finishing? Was it top 50, top 10?
No. He didn't get into the top 100 in the end.
Okay.
But he was very high up.
He was there and abouts.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Double Haas. I know I said they were an outside shot, but double Haas. Oof.
It's a 3 from me. It's a 3 from me because I think this isn't a team that is picked to perform in week 1. I think this is a team that he's picked, that he's seen to kind of make money on, and Haas he's banking on their qualifying well there and a better Haas. He's basically going, Ferrari and Haas are, like we said, they're linked. If Ferrari do well, Haas will probably do well because they buy the majority of their parts from Ferrari.
Well, last season he did make all his money at the start of the one. So there's probably a money team there. I think 3 Kimmys is probably fair. He's got Max, he's got Vettel and Ferrari. Yeah, 3 Kimmys.
Right, JB, another returning guy to the comments, and a very long comment from JB as well. It was brilliant. He was like, "You are the only guys who are enthusiastic about Air Fantasy as me. It's back." And we're like, it's back. We're back. It's everything's back. But yeah, we're back. It's back. JB's back. So, his team is Perez, Turbo, Verstappen, Russell, Albon, Grosjean and Mercedes. So double Red Bull, no Ferrari, Mercedes covers off the cross there, Haas gamble with Grosjean, Russell pick Perez back into be top of the midfield. What's your instinct?
I don't like these Albon picks. Maybe I should have mentioned Albon. The thing with Albon is he is very cheap, but I can't see strong performances from him compared to the other 5 drivers.
But I want him to do badly this week so that he then gets below and you can turbo drive him.
Yeah, but just as you want him to do badly, I can't rate the team incredibly because you've got him in there. Albon. Well, two drivers from the same team, 3 Kimmys out of 5.
I think it's 3 Kimmys out of 5 as well. Just that double Red Bull, you obviously lose out on teammate bonus points, which is a big one actually that kind of adds up.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? And, those are the difference between someone doing well and not doing so well as... And, Grosjean, obviously, the gamble with Haas. Verstappen and Mercedes I like a lot. Perez I like. But, the others, there's a bit of kind of money-making, I think, involved in there.
Yeah. If you had someone else other than Albon, I'd be going 4 Kimmys. But...
Yeah. Yeah. But it's the balance between going for money and going for performance. We're giving the Kimi rating out of 5 for how we think they will perform in week 1, not how they are as an overall team in terms of big picture. So Joe Bajani has Red Bull, Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Russell and Grosjean.
Hit me again.
Red Bull,
Yep.
Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Russell, Grosjean.
So it's very similar team to me other than Grosjean Magnussen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it's 5 out of 5. I think it's a great... The only thing we're missing is the Mercedes in there.
Yeah. I think it's a gamble to have no Mercedes, so I'm going to go for 3 Kimmys and a Robin.
Ooh, 3 Kimmys and a Robin?
Yeah.
Not even 4.
No.
I'm going 4.
Okay.
No bias, but I think... Okay, yeah. But you got yourself covered in the Red Bull and the Ferrari links there.
Right. Last team from Hina Patel. Lewis. So Hamilton, Gasly, Kimi, Perez, Russell and Mercedes. So no Ferrari and no Red Bull, but gun-ho on Mercedes.
Yes.
I mean, that's not a Kimi rating out of 5.
Hit me with the team. Again.
Hamilton, Gasly, Raikkonen, Perez, Russell, Mercedes.
I don't know. No Red Bull.
That's the thing that kind of brings it down to me. My feeling is we've had a lot of these this week, but 3 Kimmys and a Robin. Robin's getting a lot of action last year.
It's a new feature to the show, so we have to use it lots.
Thank you, Rox.
Bad investment.
When you mentioned this in the comments, I bet you didn't think it was going to be mentioned as much this week.
3 Kimmys and a Robin.
I just think it's a risk to have no Red Bull. whatsoever.
You
in
got
there.
no Ferrari in there either.
And no Ferrari.
So you've only gone for one
So
of the top three.
He's banked on Mercedes, which isn't a bad bet.
3 Kimmys.
3 Kimmys, okay.
Yeah.
There. And that concludes another Rate Your Team.
Rate your team.
So guys, remember, if you want to be involved in your Rate Your Team section, then to see how many Kimmys your team's rated, leave in the comments below. We'll also kind of tweet out in the mean kind of results and stuff. So you can kind of comment on the Twitter as well and send in a screenshot of your team, and we'll obviously, if more and more teams start getting picked in, especially when we've got preview reviews to do, we'll probably limit it to about 3 or 4 an episode. But yeah, make sure when you kind of put them in, we'll note them and give them a Kimi rating out of 5.
Exactly, yeah.
That's all we can do. But Kimi, that's an interesting point to move on. It's of course time for the Kimi moment of the week. So Stephen, not a story again this week, just more of kind of a snapshot
Just a moment. A Kimi moment.
A Kimi moment, quite literally. So, if you're kind of recovering, Stephen, or you just kind of relax, what type of things might you do to recover?
I don't know. Maybe have a nap, have a sleep.
Yeah.
Just relax a bit. You know.
Have a sleep. Maybe eat something. I think I might do. You know, just maybe you're feeling tired, just hungry. You need to recover that.
Yeah.
Kimi, what do you do to recover? Well, okay, you put yourself in a giant tube of ice.
Fair enough.
That's everyone has their own.
For a reason.
Exactly. It's he stays true to his brand.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that is your Kimi moment of the week, and you won't be able to etch that image out of you now. Kimi in a giant tube. He kind of almost looks like a weird cocktail.
The Kimi cocktail.
It's just smoking out. Just Kimi cocktail, just gone hello.
That's like the little umbrella.
Yeah, he needs a little umbrella. Kimi needs an umbrella, people. We need to get him one so he can be a better cocktail. Right, these Kimi moments of the week, we're building up. We need. We'll get back to story time at some point in terms of reliving a good one.
He just keeps giving.
He does. When he's got these fresh, literal moments of the week, they're too good not to be missed out. And if you spot a Kimi moment of the week that you want to be shared, you can send that in to us in the comments below, or on Twitter, tag us in at fanatics_F1 and F1 Fanatics Steve as well. If you tag us in that with kind of any F1 fantasy related stuff, we'll obviously keep a note and mention that. But yeah, that's your Kimi moment of the week. That's your F1 Fantasy Weekly, your first preview of the technically second, but first proper preview of the F1 2020 season. Lights out are coming at Austria. Good luck to everyone in F1 Fantasy, and we look forward to kind of seeing you next week, where we get and see who's been the big point scorers from the previous week.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. But if you're new around here, haven't done so already, first F1 Fantasy Weekly with 1k subs. That's nice.
Oh yeah.
Good feeling. But if they're new around here and haven't done already, what can they do, Stephen?
They can like, they can subscribe, they can ding that bell.
Ding that bell. But that's it from us, guys. So for now, you F1 fans, keep racing.